Hello, beautiful soul. I'm Vicki Howie of ChakraBoosters.com, the creator of Chakra Boosters Healing Tattoos. And thank you so much for putting up with my shaky camera cam this week, because I'm on the road, but I'm going to be on the road a lot, and when I am, I want to make absolutely sure that I keep in touch with you. And I promised you that I would give you a video of sort of a synopsis of some of the things that went down at Matt Kahn. And of course, all of it is just too deep to cover it all. But I did pick one particular thing that I loved a lot that I want to share with you. And that is Matt Kahn's take on 4 things that tell you how conscious or unconscious you are. All right? So now, Matt Kahn does everything with love, and that's why he's my teacher. I mean, the heart is ground zero for the chakras. It's our essence. It's the balance point. And myself, many of you know, I had a pretty, more of a PTSD kind of upbringing, and there wasn't a lot of love or safety. So I've been working on that within myself. So I want you to remember that these points are not for you to test yourself. These points are for you to become more aware if you like, but they have to come from a base of self-love. Number 1, most important thing, first and foremost, in the path of transformation and healing is self-love, self-understanding. You're the one person that's going to be on this path with you forever. You're the only person that has been on this path with you forever, for your whole lifetime. So I need you to promise me that whenever you look at a list of something like signs of a weak chakra or something like that, you're only doing it to have more awareness so that you can guide your beautiful heart, your innocent inner child, to another place if you'd like, and if your little child would like. And also, there's no pressure to do that either. There's no need to change anything, but just to love yourself as you are. Okay, so now it's going to take me a minute here to hold on to this, because this takes some strength in the arms, believe it or not. I'm holding my camera. So I'm going to go through the 4 points that Matt Kahn brought up for just assessing, like, where are we at with our consciousness and our unconsciousness. Now, one other thing I want to say is, remember, when you're acting from the unconscious, it just typically means that there was teaching, behavioral examples for you, abuse, whatever words you want to use in your formative years, which are your root chakra years of womb to 7 years old. So when that happens, you learned things on a very deep level, and they just were. Like, maybe to you, love was getting hurt. Maybe love was expressed with anger. There are so many different examples I could give, but I want you to remember that unconsciousness does not have anything to do with your path, except that you want to be aware of where your unconscious patterns are. But they aren't your fault. There's nobody to blame whatsoever. It's not going to help you to blame your caregivers either, because they were passing on the unconscious that was given to them, right? So the good thing here is we can just be aware, and we can do it from a place of self-support, self-love, self-compassion. So as you listen to these, imagine you were sharing them with a friend, and your friend was just saying, how do I fit into these 4 points? Okay, so signs that help you see how conscious or unconscious you are. Number 1, the first one is, how easily or quickly do you get annoyed, irritated, frustrated, let's just say triggered. Matt made a funny joke. He said that he's often seen people with so much spiritual background and experience and so much jewelry, like crystals, on them that they look like the Mr. T of spirituality. And yet, if they are faced with a problematic situation or a person that's less than kind, they can go off really quickly. So how patient are you in that sense? And here's another thing. Patience can be a quality. So what I'd like to know is, how easily are you triggered? Because sometimes we then stuff what we're triggered about. But the point we want to get to here is how quickly we can get into our heart of acceptance, so we aren't triggered in holding it back, and we're not triggered in putting it out, right? We're just not triggered. We understand that we are part of the whole, and the other who would trigger us is part of us as well. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is, how generous are you with your attention and, well, with your interest, your engaged interest. Now, you could say this needs to be in general for anyone in your life, right? Because we're connected to everyone. But Matt made it a little simpler, and he said, just check to see how engaged you are, how interested you are in the people who are in your loving space. So your beloveds, your family, your friends. So start there. And this isn't about being interested when you're interested. This is about taking interest in them and taking interest in their interests, especially when they don't gel with yours. Matt gave a great example of a client of his who was complaining that her husband never took interest and asked her about her meditations. And he just gently said, well, when was the last time that you asked him about how his team is doing or who won the game? So you can see what I'm saying here. Your interest in the people around you isn't about the fact that you're interested in their interests. It's the fact that you are lovingly engaged and interested in them, in their passions, in what they love. And this is a high sign of consciousness when we can bring all of ourselves and not just when our ego is interested in the topic. Okay, that's number two. Number three, I thought this one was really interesting. How well do you take true, authentic compliments? Now, often we think, well, compliments, that's our ego taking a compliment. But Matt made a point that the true compliment pierces our heart. It's like a love bomb. When someone really sees you in your glory, really sees you in your beauty and your divinity, that's a lot to take in. So we need to be able to be conscious enough to stretch and open our heart and let that goodness in, because so many of us say we want it, but when it comes, do we deflect it? And it's interesting because right after this was taught, I actually texted, a friend shared something with me, and I texted a compliment back, and it got deflected. And so I just was very aware of that. It was like, oh, I wanted that gift to land. I really wanted that gift to land. So how are you at receiving? Matt gave a good analogy. He said many of us are like hiding. We're hiding ourselves. So we're hiding in our bunker, our hearts all cloistered inside of our safe little bunker. And we're waiting for people to put their compliments down the little mail slot into our bunker with an anonymous signature. You know, taking all the part that would confront or crack open the innocent heart, taking all that away. But that's the beautiful thing about a compliment. So when the next one comes, can you notice how consciously you can let it in? Can you get vulnerable and mushy and just let yourself feel whatever you feel around the compliment and see if it opens you up a little bit? That's your next loving challenge for your heart. Okay, and number four, finally, how much do you honor the space of spiritual process for others and for yourself? So if someone needs space or time, do you allow them that? And if you're the one that needs it, are you aware that you need it? And do you allow it for yourself? Do you give that to yourself? The ego has a schedule. It has the time that it's on, you know, the part of us that has to command and control. But life doesn't work that way. The divine is unfolding always, and sometimes you can't bend down and tell a flower to grow, right? You just can't. Or you certainly could, but it's not going to listen to you. It's going to grow from within, and we need to honor our own growth from within and the growth of those around us from within. So coming from a very codependent background myself, extremely so. My dad died when I was 1, and my mother was an extreme alcoholic after that. I was very tied into her world, so I'm very aware that space is a big one, and I'm still learning a lot about space. So what are you learning about space? And can you allow others their space? And more importantly, can you allow yourself the space when you need it? And many of you know I'm going through a transition right now, so I'm allowing myself a little more space, and I still want to share with you. I love you so much, so I'm going to do my best to keep doing the weekly videos while also traveling and taking the space that I need right now to rediscover myself. There's a new part of me that is emerging, and I'm excited about it because I cannot share these videos with you and guide in any way if I'm not growing and expanding, because I know you are. So in a way I need to keep up to guide, right? Makes sense? So I love you so much. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful week. Do keep my wonderful assistant Christian busy at home with my Chakra Boosters healing tattoos. Guys, especially when I'm traveling, I'm always wearing the root, but that's me, you know, I can always use root. I wear one on the front at the top of each thigh almost always, and I wear, I still have my natural tattoo, my regular Shiva from Sedona, put it on my back tattoo down at the end of my tailbone. And I also have a very large heart. I think some of you saw that, a very large heart tattoo. So those are my two areas where those are real tattoos that I got so that I could continue to open in those areas, because I think I have a strong enough second and third chakra and upper chakras to counterbalance those forever. So many of you write to me and say, can I get a tattoo? Yes, of course you can get a real tattoo, and your intuition's gonna know what's right for you. If you're getting a strong pull to do it, I say go for it. Just like I say go for whatever your soul is calling you to do. And I send you much, much love this week. I'm back in Arizona, and I will be, by next week, I'll be in Paris. I hope to be sharing some videos from there. Much love.